Are you thinking about relocating to St. Petersburg, Florida? Well, you're definitely not alone. St. Pete is a beautiful, vibrant city, and it's no surprise that so many people are making the move here. But before you pack your bags, there's a lot to consider, from the cost of living to what are the best neighborhoods and everything in between. Today, I'm answering the top questions I get from people relocating to the Tampa Bay area. Just last year, my team and I helped over 40 families find their perfect home here, and I'm excited to share my knowledge with you today. If we haven't met before, my name is Jeffrey Clark. I'm the broker owner for one of the top real estate teams in the Tampa Bay area. I'm a Florida native and local to St. Pete, so it's my pleasure to give you an insider's look at what living here is really like. So whether you're considering a move for the weather, lifestyle, or job opportunities, stick with me as we dive into the top 14 questions I get asked most often as a top producing agent here in St. Petersburg. Without further ado, let's get started. The first question I get all the time is, hey, is St. Petersburg really a good place to live? And the short answer, in my personal opinion, is obviously yes. St. Pete is an amazing place to live. No matter who you are or what part of life you're in, St. Petersburg is probably a great place for you. It's really the perfect balance between like a fun city life and a relaxing small town feel. There are so many things to get into here, which we'll talk about more later, but it is the perfect coastal town and the location cannot be beat. Not only are we within a short driving distance to other major cities like Tampa, Clearwater, and Sarasota, we're also within just a few hour drive to other major Florida cities like Orlando, Miami, and St. Augustine. It is not uncommon for people here to make a day trip to go to Disney in Orlando. It's maybe an hour and a half long drive, not crazy at all. You can also go to Busch Gardens, which is just a 30-minute drive over into the Tampa area. We also have the St. Pete Clearwater Airport and Tampa International Airport within a 20 to 25-minute drive. So flying is a breeze no matter where you're traveling, and you can get pretty much anywhere with just a short commute. The second question I get asked often by people who are moving here from out of state is, what are the best neighborhoods to live in? Which of course is a very reasonable question to ask. And the obvious answer is downtown, of course, since you're just near everything. There's also Crescent Lake, the Old Northeast, Kenwood, and Snell Isle, which are all amazing places to live because of convenient access to the downtown amenities, as well as grocery stores and things like that. They also come with a little bit more of a luxury price point because obviously if you're gonna live in the nicer areas, you're gonna have to pay a little bit of a premium. And although it's not St. Pete proper, I have to include Gulfport because Gulfport is kind of a beachside gem full of artsy vibes, cool little cafes and shops, and just a really unique culture in itself. Some other notable options are Kenneth City, Pinellas Park, and the Tyrone area, which are more in the center of our peninsula, all with a little bit more affordable options and easy access to everything else. There's also all the beach neighborhoods like Tierra Verde and Pasadena. They each truly have their own unique feel, and everyone loves their own thing, so it's hard to choose an absolute favorite. A lot of that's gonna be tailored to your specific wants and needs. If you have questions about what neighborhood would be best for you, just comment below some of the things that are important to you or reach out to us at the information below, and we're happy to guide you through that process. So it really depends on what you like. Maybe you want easy access to events, shopping, and dining, and you don't mind paying a premium. Otherwise, if you don't mind living a little bit farther out, maybe you'd want to be closer in the peninsula. But whatever your preference is, there's a neighborhood here for you in St. Petersburg. The number 3 question for people coming from out of the area is, what is the cost of living? And the cost of living here is still relatively affordable compared to other major cities like Tampa, Orlando, or Miami. Housing is going to be the most expensive thing, of course, but it is still affordable, and there's many options and many different price points that could work within your budget. Similar to housing, groceries and other costs like utilities remain a little bit more affordable than you might expect compared to some of the other major cities here. And in St. Pete, the cost of living is actually 5% lower than the national average, which I think a lot of people are surprised by, given that we are this kind of, beautiful luxury coastal city in the Sunshine State. The number 4 question I get asked often is, what is the median home price in St. Pete, or what is the median rent? And if you're looking to rent, the median rent here is about $2,150 for all property types. But keep in mind, if you want to be near amenities and have more conveniences like being in the downtown area, the price will go up. Similarly, if you want a larger space, the price might be higher, or if you want a smaller space, you can definitely find a place for rent under that. But $2,150 is a median for rent. If you're looking to buy, the median home price in St. Petersburg is only $475,000, which I think surprises a lot of people who are moving here from out of state. And similar to rentals, if you want to be in a nicer or more luxury or better located neighborhood, you will be paying a premium. The prices can go up from there. We do have many multi-million-dollar homes as well as luxury condos here in downtown St. Petersburg, but the median being $475 should shed some light on there's different options available for everybody. And if $475 is the median, it means that there's options above that, but there's also options beneath that. So we could definitely find something that works for your budget. Here you can find our video that breaks down the cost of living here, from living expenses to experiences. We've got you covered. So I would definitely check that one out after you're done watching this video to the end, hitting the like button and hitting the subscribe button. Number 5 question I get all the time is, what is the weather like? Is it truly as nice as I hear it is? And the answer is absolutely yes. We're recording this in February of 2025. As I'm sure you can see around us, it is beautiful, sunny, blue skies, low 70 degrees, just the perfect weather for me and hopefully for you as well. On average here, we get 361 days of sunshine each year, so definitely prepare for the sun. The hottest month here is August, but from June to September, it is pretty hot and humid. So if that's something that bothers you, it might not be the perfect place for you unless you want to do some sort of seasonal thing. For me personally, I would rather have a few hot months that need to worry about shoveling snow or salt rusting my car out. And most days here, it is between 70 to 80 degrees, blue skies, and sunny. It's truly the best kind of weather to enjoy all of the outdoor amenities and recreation that St. Pete has to offer, and there are many outdoor recreation activities that St. Pete has to offer. Number 6 is St. Petersburg a safe place to live in? And I can tell you, I've never felt unsafe in St. Petersburg. As with anywhere else, you don't want to leave, luxury jewelry in your passenger seat, but you don't want to do that in any city. I've never, in my experience living in St. Petersburg, felt unsafe. Just like with anywhere else, just be aware of what you got going on, and a lot of it's going to depend on where you are within the city. The number 7 question I get asked often is, how are the schools? People moving here with children want to know, and St. Petersburg has great schools, including some top high schools, elementary schools, and middle schools. Schools here have a wide variety of different programs, tailored to a lot of different interests when it comes to your children. The city has many schools, including public schools, private schools, and magnet schools. To name just a few that you might want to check out, Shore Acres Elementary is an amazing school, Clearwater Fundamental Middle School, and St. Petersburg High School are some of the top schools in St. Petersburg. But definitely, if you're moving here with children, it's a great place for their education and their future. Number 8, what are the job opportunities? Well, in 2021, St. Pete was named one of the best cities in Florida for job opportunities specifically. We have a ton of job opportunities, from high-paying financial service jobs to part-time jobs. There's an opportunity for everyone. Tourism's big here, so there's a big hospitality industry. There's a lot of growth in the tech and financial sectors here. Something to note though is people who have very niche jobs tend to commute to nearby cities like Tampa or Clearwater, which is not a big deal. It's just something you might want to be aware of, because traveling to Tampa at peak rush hour is not something that I personally enjoy doing, but maybe something that you're not going to mind if you move to St. Petersburg. Number 9 is just generally, what are some of the pros and cons of living in St. Petersburg? And for me, the top pro in St. Pete is just overall quality of life. St. Pete is truly a gem, and life here is the best for me. I've lived all over the state. I've never found a place better than St. Petersburg. I've traveled all over the country. I've never found a spot that I would rather live than St. Petersburg. The proximity to beaches and outdoors is also a great pro. The weather is such a plus. One of the biggest cons is probably storms and hurricane season, but if you're living in Florida, you have to deal with this already. And aside from the end of 2024, it was over 100 years since St. Pete got a direct hit from the storm. And even those storms, although some neighborhoods, especially ones directly on the water, are still dealing with impacts, for the most part, the city has already recovered and came back. There was a lot of efforts and a lot of neighborly love helping people get back on their feet. Another con is probably the congestion, since there are a lot of commuters and seasonally there's a lot of tourists that come to St. Petersburg, just since it's such a desirable location to come and visit. So there can sometimes be traffic on the roads, but it is not nearly as bad as some other major cities or places in California if you're coming from there. Overall, there are plenty of pros and just a few cons to the city, and it all depends on your personal preferences, because not everything is the same for everybody. For me, the pros so far outweigh the cons, it's almost not even worth mentioning them, but it might be different for you. It's just something for you to be looking into before you make the move. After you're done here, check out my 7 pros and cons video, and that'll break it down further for you. Number 10 is, what is the transportation like? And for the most part, unless you live in the downtown St. Pete area, life here is mainly car dependent, although the city is investing a lot of money in making that differently. There are parts of the city like downtown where most people can walk around or bike or scoot, but even then, most people still have cars in case they want to go somewhere like Tampa or Clearwater or across the bridge of Sarasota. In downtown, there's bikes and scooters that you can rent. If you don't have your own, you just have an app, you can buzz it, scoot around, get wherever you need to go. Also, the downtown Looper and Central Avenue Trolley make it really easy to make your way around downtown St. Pete. Those are kind of like some public transportation options for us. And speaking of public transportation, the Sunrunner is Tampa Bay's very first bus rapid transit project, offering a train-like experience line that will connect downtown St. Pete to South Pasadena and St. Pete Beach. The city also has something called PSTA, which is our bus route with 41 fixed bus routes, including 2 express routes connecting downtown Tampa to St. Petersburg. The PSTA buses offer a low-cost method and a kind of a reliable way to get around without the hassle of a car, if that's something that's very important to you. Number 11, people ask, how close are you really to the beaches when you live in St. Pete? And that just depends on where you live in St. Petersburg. But overall, I would say that getting around isn't that difficult. And I find that most of the time it can take someone between 5 and 20 minutes to get to the beach. But again, it just depends on which beach you're going. We are in a peninsula, so our entire coastline is beaches. It's really hard to be far from a beach if you live in St. Petersburg. If you live in downtown and you don't want to experience the beach at the pier and you want to go like to St. Pete Beach proper, you can expect about a 10 to 15 minute drive. Same thing with Pinellas Park or Kansas City. And like I said, the nice thing is that St. Pete is completely surrounded by water, so you're really never too far from beach or access to the water. Even the pier, like I said, has a small beach area. Nothing compared to the actual ones, but it's really beautiful and it's really convenient because it's so close to other shopping and restaurants and other amenities the city has to offer. The 12th question is, what is there to do? And honestly, a better question might be, what isn't there to do? There's always something going on in St. Petersburg, and sometimes there's the problem where there's too many things to do, especially on the weekend, and you have a problem deciding what you want to spend your time on because there's so many good options, which in my opinion is a good problem to have. There's always a farmer's market or a market of some sort going on. My personal favorite is a Saturday morning markets, which happen every week here in downtown St. Petersburg. There's also a lot of food and music festivals. A perfect example is the Seafood and Music Festival that happens here in downtown St. Petersburg. And there's also Localtopia, which just happened this last weekend, which shuts down parts of downtown St. Pete for over 300 local vendors to promote, arts, local businesses. People really come out in mass. It's a really cool vibe. These are just a few of the things. If I listed everything, this would be a 40-minute video, but rest assured, there's always something to do in St. Petersburg, from our beautiful museums to live music to just exploring the city. You'll find something that works for you. Number 13 would be just general questions about, is St. Pete prone to flooding or hurricanes? Like, how big of a deal is this really in St. Petersburg, Florida? And as a coastal city and a city located in Florida, we do have always the option of hurricanes and possible flooding. Here, hurricane season runs from June to November, and this is just something you have to take into consideration if you plan on moving to Florida. Generally speaking, it's not a huge deal. Last year, we did get hit with some storms, as did North Carolina, Georgia, and Tennessee, but that was the first time in over 100 years that we got a direct hit from a hurricane. And most Floridians just have a plan in place, and generally you have enough time to prepare if anything happens to be coming up. And then if you specifically want to avoid flooding, we do have flood maps provided by FEMA, where we can show you which areas are higher or lower risk. I personally prefer to live in a flood zone X area, meaning I have no flood insurance required. My home has never flooded, even with the storms last year, and that's a majority of the land in St. Petersburg. But of course, if you want to live on the water or in a more coastal neighborhood, that's something that you would have to take into consideration. If you have more specific questions about which areas do and don't have flood risk, just reach out to us at the information below. We're happy to guide you through that process. Number 14 is, what is the community like in St. Petersburg, Florida? And I can tell you just from firsthand experience, it is amazing. I mean, it is just the best vibes I've found anywhere in all of my travels and in all of the places I've lived. The city has a really laid back, friendly atmosphere, and residents are very active in supporting each other, both in like local business, community events, and just being neighborly. I think it's one of those things where if you live in paradise, you're just a happier, nicer person, and you're more willing to kind of be a friendly neighbor. And so definitely the best place I've ever lived when it comes to community. It's something where you will be able to find your people, find people who support you, and just be able to enjoy kind of a relaxed, laid back, happy lifestyle here in St. Petersburg, Florida. St. Pete also makes it really easy to connect with new people. So often when people are moving here out of state, it's not like they take years and years to find their people. If you want to get out and find someone to connect with, you'll be able to do so pretty easily here in St. Petersburg, Florida. So there you have it, answers to some of the most common questions that people ask me when they're relocating to St. Petersburg, Florida. So whether you're drawn here for the great weather, the thriving art scene, or the beautiful beaches, there's no doubt that St. Pete has a ton to offer you. There's a lot to consider, so if you're thinking about making the move, we'd love to help. Call us at the number below, or you can find additional contact information in the description. And don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Comment below some questions I might have missed, or any questions that you'd like me to cover in a future video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.